All right, welcome to Talkin' Investing. I'm Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to talk about Bitcoin, the Bitcoin miners, and the Bitcoin mining difficulty level. We had our adjustment yesterday, and I want to go through that because it was a pretty major adjustment, and this is the continuation of a trend, so I want to talk about what that means and who I think is going to benefit the most from that. There are a few Bitcoin miners in specific that I think are going to have spectacular Julys. So I want to go through all that. We talk about Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners all the time on this channel, so if that's content you're interested in, please remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Also, if everybody would do me a favor and smash the like button, it helps out the channel a lot, and it helps get this video out to more people. Okay, so this is mostly a review, I'm sure, for most of you, but for those of you who don't know, the Bitcoin difficulty level gets adjusted every 2 weeks. And essentially what that means is, based on the amount of computing power, they either have to increase or decrease the difficulty level so that they continue to generate a block every 10 minutes. That is the goal. So the more computing power there is, the harder and harder it gets to mine a Bitcoin. Well, at the moment, we're in the opposite phase. 4 of the last 5 adjustments have actually been downward. In other words, they have decreased the level of difficulty. So let's start with this article, and then I want to go through some of the numbers. Bitcoin mining difficulty records largest fall in a year. Okay, so this, just a few of the bullet points here. The mining difficulty reading is now at 27.69 trillion. The difficulty level, which undergoes adjustments about every 2 weeks, reached a record high of 31.25 trillion on May 11th, 2022. So just over the course of the last 2 months, this is down about 11%. And obviously there have been several adjustments since then, but this was the largest one yet. You'll see here it says Bitcoin mining difficulty dropped 5.01% on Friday, marking the 3rd decline in a row and the largest since July of 2021. Okay, so real quick, I just want to show you another headline. This says Bitcoin hash rate slumps to lowest in over 5 months amid 100-degree plus weather in Texas. So there's some truth to this, but there's a few things going on. There's definitely a lot of curtailment going on with the Bitcoin miners in Texas, and a lot of the big North American Bitcoin miners have operations in Texas. So this actually is a part of the reason, but there is a larger reason that this has been trending this way, because this temperature has only been occurring for, a short period of time. We've been trending downward for months now, and the reason for that is the Bitcoin price has been hitting new low after new low, and particularly when it jumped from around 30,000 down to 20,000, a lot of miners unplugged machines, and we can see that in the daily exahash rate. We also see it in their monthly operational reports. I will tell you that Mawson today just put out their monthly operational report, and they said that they averaged 1.0 exahash in the month of June. Well, they averaged 1.5 exahash in the month of May, and in the May release, they said they were going to average 2.0 exahash in the month of June. So they made the decision to actually significantly cut their amount of mining that they're doing because Bitcoin is at a low dollar price. And they are not alone. Many Bitcoin miners are seizing this opportunity to transfer from old machines to new machines or move machines around to more effective pricing for electricity. For the companies that needed to make these changes, this seemed to be an opportune moment with Bitcoin trading at such a low price to scale down on the mining and work more on the infrastructure. Okay, so this is just BTC.com. This is a website that tracks the difficulty level for Bitcoin. So I just want to scroll down and show. You'll see 4 of the last 5 numbers are red, which means 4 of the last 5 adjustments have been a decrease in the difficulty level. So you can see this is 4 out of the last 5 adjustments. We're down over 11% in total. So this is making it significantly easier to mine Bitcoin. So for the Bitcoin miners that did not turn machines off, there were some Bitcoin miners that have actually added to their exahash rate over this same period of time. So I'm going to go through a couple of those later that I think will be the most likely to have the most benefit from this reduction in the difficulty level. So you can see here, as of yesterday, this went to 27.6 trillion. And we have to go all the way back to February 17th, 2022. We were at 27.9 trillion at that point. So that is more back then than it is now. Now, for the next couple of adjustments, it went to 27.5 and 27.4, and now we're at 27.6. So relatively the same, but we're at a 5-month low. And the other thing worth mentioning is we're at a 5-month low, but this was not the forecast at all for this year. I'm going to go to blockchain.com. This gives you hash rate on I think this is on a 7-day rolling average. So you'll see back on February 17th, the worldwide exahash rate for Bitcoin miners was at 214 exahash. So we bounced around between 190 and 200, and then you can see there was a big increase. In April, we got up into the 220s. In May, we peaked at 231. From this peak at 231, you can see this is a massive amount of reduction, particularly the last few weeks have just been pretty much down in a straight line. So based on everybody's plans coming into the year 2022, had all the publicly traded companies stayed on their plan, this worldwide hash rate would have been substantially higher. It's now at about 194, I believe, today. So this says it's at 193.157. So we were expecting this to be more like 275 by now. So that is a drastic difference. So there will be some companies that take advantage of this and get to mine a lot of Bitcoin. Now, the other side of this is really the company that will benefit the most from this is the one who is mining Bitcoin and hodling them at this point. So at points in the past, there may have been an argument as to whether or not to hodl Bitcoin, because a lot of those people mined Bitcoin at $50,000, hodled them, and then had to sell them at $20,000. But now, if they can mine a bunch of them at $20,000 and hold them and sell them later at $50,000, that is a gigantic benefit. Okay, so this is a website that basically estimates what the adjustment is going to be. So you'll see their final estimate was that it was going to be down 5.06%. The actual adjustment was 5.01%. So this is a fairly accurate website. And you'll see that the reason they're adjusting down is that a block was taking 10.53 minutes. And they want a block to take 10 minutes. If it's taking longer than that, then that means the difficulty level is too hard and they have to lower it to try to get that back towards 10 minutes. But what I want to show you is they've now already started their projection for the next difficulty change, which again, they do this every 2 weeks. The next change is going to be Friday, August 5th, 2022. So just a little less than 2 weeks from now. And the current estimate is that it's going to go down another 5.2%. Now, it is very early, so we'll have to see what happens over the next 2 weeks, but we have the potential, we saw the chart, the hash rate has been going down in a straight line for weeks now. So it is possible we will get another big pullback in the difficulty level again next month. So we'll keep our eye on this. You can see it says here there's still 13 days, 20 hours, and 30 minutes until that adjustment. So this could change. This could change drastically for all we know. But at the moment, if things stay the way they are, there's going to be another big adjustment to the downside. If I show you the month-over-month chart and we looked at this, this is May compared to June, you'll see a lot of these miners actually went down in June from May. And it's not because the difficulty level went up. We saw the difficulty level actually went down, but it's because the price of Bitcoin's gone down so much that a lot of these companies have scaled back what they're doing. So you're going to see pretty much across the board, there was almost no difference between May and June. The top 4 companies actually mined less in June than they did in May. Now, there was one less day in June. The only company that actually made a difference for was Bitfarms. So Bitfarms actually mined a little bit more per day, but in total, they mined less. They mined 431 Bitcoin in May, and that was their all-time record, and they did 420 in June. So once again, it looks to me like in July, a lot of these companies have already signaled the fact that they scaled their production back. I'm not going to say way back, we'll see. I think it's going to vary from company to company. The first thing is a lot of these companies are in Texas, or a large portion of their mining is in Texas. And we know that they're all participating in energy curtailment based on the unusually high weather. That's going to have a negative effect on them for the month of July. As I sorted through all these Bitcoin miners, there were 2 that jumped out at me that seemed like they're probably going to have the biggest benefit. I think there will be at least 2 miners that set their all-time record for Bitcoin mined in a month, in this month of July. There may be more than that. Everybody hasn't given, full disclosure as to what their plans are, but just based on reading the operational updates and all the other press releases that we've received over time, to me, the 2 companies that jump out is number 1, Bitfarms. So if we look at Bitfarms' June 2022 production report, so that came out at the beginning of July. So you see, essentially here in last month's report, they said they were operating at 6.3 exahash exahash in June. And they say right here, importantly, with miner installations continuing, we expect to exceed our Q2 22 range target of 4.0 exahash within the next 2 or 3 weeks. So that means that by mid-July, they had jumped up to 4 exahash. So that's a pretty substantial increase in their mining capacity. And at the same time, we're seeing these downward adjustments in the difficulty level. So I would very, very much expect to see Bitfarm break their all-time record of 431 Bitcoin mined in a month. In fact, I'd be surprised if they don't. I would also say I think there's a very good chance that Bitfarm ends up in second place as far as production for the month of July. So Core Scientific is mining over 1,000 Bitcoin per month. They're substantially ahead of everybody else. But there are a pack of 5 or 6 or 7 that are vying for those second, third, and fourth place positions. And I think it's a very strong likelihood that Bitfarms will separate themselves for the month of July and finish in second place. So we will have to wait for all the operational updates and see if that's how it plays out. But they seemed the most poised to capitalize on the opportunity of this decrease in the difficulty level. Okay, the second company I want to point out is Hut8, and they're going to benefit in 2 ways from this because Hut8 is still hodling 100% of their Bitcoin. So as the difficulty level goes down and they get to mine more Bitcoin, they're keeping it on their balance sheet. So ultimately, I think we all believe that Bitcoin will end up at higher prices. So this is just an opportunity for them to make even extra money. Here again, it looks like they will continue to scale up their exahash rate and the number of machines they have mining, while at the same time the difficulty level is going down. So I am expecting also Hut8 to beat their all-time record, which is 345 Bitcoin mined in a month. So these are the 2 that I am absolutely most confident about that will beat their all-time record. Now, obviously, there's no guarantee. I don't work there. I don't know their internal workings, so they may have had something go on this month that I'm totally unaware of. But if it was business as usual for those 2, then I would say there's a very high likelihood that Bitfarms and Hut8 will both break their all-time record for Bitcoin mined in 1 month, in the month of July. So obviously I'll do my monthly update as soon as everybody gives their operational reports. That will start with Bitfarms, who does that on the first day of the month. So that'll be about 10 days from now. So that's all I've got for you on Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners today. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to subscribe to the channel and smash the like button, and we will see you in the next video.